Welcome, everyone. Super excited you are joining Little Starlight hosts, myself, Andrea Yeager, and Karen Vasquez. We are on part 2 of an extraordinary episode with the remarkable Laura Alden Kamm. If you are yet to watch or listen to part 1, what's up with that? Come on. It's okay. You can always check it out anytime you want, since it's available on YouTube at littlestar.org in the announcement section and wherever podcasts are found. Few, if anyone in the world, has the bio of Laura Alden Kamm. So check out part 1. And if you're here with us now on part 2, let's go. It's time for a deep dive into the unknown and unseen, enjoying your own intuition and starting every day with your best inner power. If this is your first introduction to Laura, here's a very brief summary. Laura Alden Kamm is a medical intuitive, called a walking MRI for her accuracy and abilities, a best-selling author and spiritual teacher. She has had spiritual connections and awareness since a child. After a health episode in her 20s, she became ill, died, a 10-hour brain surgery part of her dire medical situation, and well, she is back, and here she is with us. Laura gives... It's just, I have to say, how many times can you talk to someone and say, you know what, they died and here they are right now with us today? It's just, this is really exceptional. So audience members, seriously, this is something otherworldly and special. And you will, even if, whether you get Laura's book or listen to her podcast or take one of her classes, whatever you do, you will easily be transformed just by listening to her on this episode. So anyway, Laura gives her all, teaching students and clients from 148 countries how to increase their own intuition and inner wisdom to heal and enjoy life fully. Part 2 is very different than part 1. Karen, ready to give a refresher of your question?
Yes, I'm ready. Okay, Laura, I was doing my research on you. I came across this website called Awaken, and on the main topics, they had foundation of teaching, and listed under there, they had personal healing and transformation, energy medicine, direct experience with God, and medical intuition. However, the one I was most intrigued about was direct experience with God. Would you please elaborate on how to help a person to have a direct experience with God? I want to learn more about this.
Beautiful question. It's about connection. To have an experience with anything, especially God, you have to connect. And so the connection begins within yourself first, within your own mind, your heart, your demeanor, your way of being. The sincerity that we have is important. I have seen many who have been extremely sincere about their devotion to God or Christ, and yet they feel they lack that connection and that experience. I respectfully beg to differ. I think maybe they're looking in the wrong place. Sometimes when God shows up, it's really loud and clangy and big, and it usually is a steep fall into the ditch, like I mentioned in episode 1. But not always. Sometimes God shows up to show the face, the heart, the beingness of that triune of God, Holy Spirit, and Christ. Again, I'm of the Christian faith, but I study all faiths, and I find a lot of similarities amongst them. To have an experience, you really have to go inside to yourself and ask a simple question. May I feel the experience of God? And you just wait for it. What we don't have a lot of right now is patience. And you have to wait for this, because there is a thing called divine timing. And the interesting thing is, there's an old saying, and I'm going to paraphrase it very roughly here, that God was very smart. God put his essence in our hearts, the last place we look. We always are looking outside, a religion, a doctrine, a philosophy, a practice, of this or that. It's inside. That's why I love the work that I do when I go inside someone's heart to look or assess from a physical point of view. I run into the gifts that they were given to display on this earth to share with other people. And so those gifts were given to you, supplanted in your soul, embraced and embodied within you. And that's where you start the connection. You start the connection in and around the heart. You don't have to go land in the left ventricle wall or something like that. You don't have to be that specific. It's a global feeling inside to just be there in silence with your breath and with the request to feel the presence of God. And I focus on a lot the light of Christ. And that's from a lot of my experiences, especially one in particular, when I died. But start there. Ask, request, focus on, may I please? And there's no begging, really. So please isn't really necessary. May I remember is probably a better way to say it. May I remember, I'd like to remember the presence of God within me, because that's what's true. God is within all of us, every cell in our body, every atom that floats around us, every molecule, every space between the spaces of physical structure contains the essence and substance and structure of God. And so it's all around us. We just need to be quiet and go in and sit with it. Welcome it. Open your mind to it. And it will feel different for everyone to some degree initially, is my experience, getting feedback from people. But the warmth, the sense of safety is often reported. The knowing that there's something larger within you as a human being, that's the soul, it's the spirit, it's the connection. Those feelings, you will experience that. That is the presence of God within you. And it can be fleeting because the doorbell will ring or somebody will text you and things like that, but it doesn't go away. It never leaves us. We're the ones that have the hand on the doorknob. We can open or close it with philosophy, with the way we think about God in general or God specifically, but it's right there. So just sit within yourself and embrace the presence of God that's already within you. There really isn't a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-step process. It's like in there. There it is. You'll feel it. It grows as you awaken to it. It really does. And then you just walk with it. It walks with you because it is you. It is you. You can't lose this. You can't lose it. It doesn't leave you. The worst person on the planet still has that. The most heinous things that happen from one human to another, it's still there. It's still there. There may be something else there too that's superseding it in the moment, but it's still there. That's my experience. So I'm going to stick with it. Let's stick with it.
Wow,
I hope that's helpful.
No, it is. It is. And it's true. The patience. It's about patience. And I think my thing, I'm Christian too, and I am working on my relationship with God. But sometimes what I grow impatient with is not hearing back. And not hearing back. So I pray and sometimes I'm like, God, I'm just talking to myself, I'm like, I'm not hearing anything back. So I just sometimes I just grow impatient and I kind of and I just go apart. And then I try again and then the same thing happens. And so, yeah,
You're being heard. We're always heard. When you just said, when I talk and I pray about it and I ask for it, what happened in your field was there were these concentric rings of ebbing going out. It was a flow. It was going out. But just boom, 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 going out. So your broadcast is going out. You're being heard. You're being heard. And there is timing. Timing is so annoying.
yes.
So annoying. You can have all the patience in the world or be impatient, and it doesn't matter. Let me tell you a little story. I'll try and make it quick. I was coming out of a hair salon years ago, and the day before I was going to be driven downtown to Phoenix to speak at a corporation. So I was walking to the car. I saw a black SUV in my energy field. It was coming at me. There was nothing physical, but it was coming at me in my field. And I went, oh, there's going to be an accident tomorrow. And I stopped before I got in the car with my friend. because I wanted to hear and discern this, I said, oh, okay, there's going to be cars. Should I go? Yes. Should I get somebody else to drive me? No. Is there going to be an accident? Yes. Is everybody going to be okay? Yes. Should I really go? Yes. So I went. And I tried to mess with God. I tried to mess with timing. I purposely said, okay, I'm going to stay 5 minutes later after the lecture and talk to these people. I'm going to walk slowly down the stairs instead of take the elevator. I'm going to go across the street with my friend who drove me, and we're going to have a hot dog. I don't eat hot dogs very often, like maybe, I don't know, once in 15 years, but we had a hot dog. I said, God, we're stalling, we're getting it. I'm kind of weaving around time. We got in the car. We're on the 202. If everybody's been to Phoenix, the 202 is a loop in the inner city. Sure enough, my friend goes, we're going to get hit. I look in the rear view mirror on the passenger side, and there's a black SUV. They hit my car. We bounced 4 times, crushed a Volvo around us. I felt this gelatinous slow motion gel inside as I'm bouncing around the car. No one was hurt. A Volvo was totaled, though. I tried to mess with divine timing. You can't mess with it. Your mind is not as powerful as the heavens. So don't try. Just keep walking. Keep talking, keep listening, and keep moving with the spirit you have inside.
And the other thing, Karen, you are getting answers. It's just sometimes you got to figure out how to decipher that. Like you learned Spanish and then learn English. And, there's a lot of things you had to learn that at first were foreign. And sometimes it can just be, you're walking down the street and there's and this has happened to me so much, but there's a heart shaped in a piece of gum or something, or a heart shaped in the piece of the cement, or a heart shaped in a leaf, and what happens is God will give you messages of that correspondence and that love always. And it could be something that, and we're going to talk a little bit this in the next coming questions about grace and faith, but you have faith and you have grace with that, and you will receive certain. So what you're doing is waiting for this boom, maybe a specific answer. Like, what am I to do? Do I take this direction in a career? But what's happening is every day you're getting an answer in love that God presents. And it's just, if you could open up your heart a little to understand, it may be traditionally different than what you expect the conversation to be, then the conversation will start. I don't mean to interrupt, and it's not my...
Oh, no, it's good. It's
my podcast, but I'm not really the guest.
Maybe this is a sign I'm looking for.
Let's just make this Karen's episode.
No, yes. Maybe grow a little more patient and hear with not just my ears and more with my heart.
Pay attention. Yeah. So pay attention, because it is divine timing, but what happens is divine timing is happening every moment. Yes. So divine timing is God is communicating every moment. So it's just a matter of, well, did you pay attention, or was something else gravitating your attention? So therefore you kind of went society's way or humanity's way or something like that. And you got to go, okay, you just tune the dial a little bit to understand that. But anyway, so let's just keep going.
Thank you both.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So go ahead. You're still up.
Just one, I think it's one more question. The other one was, I'm also curious about the energy medicine. How does that work?
Energy medicine is actually a really broad field. Acupuncture is in that field. Homeopathy is. Reiki's now and has been used in hospitals and surgical rooms for a number of years now. And so, not in every hospital, of course, but there are some groundbreaking physicians in hospitals. So it encompasses a lot. What energy medicine believes, and the premise of it, is that we have energetic systems, which we've talked about a little bit. In different philosophies, like traditional Chinese medicine, they're known as the meridians. In yogic philosophy, Vedantic philosophy, Ayurveda, they're known as the chakras. If anybody listening does yoga, you know about the chakra system. Well, specifically the chakra system, in my point of view, would not exist in the human body if it wasn't for the nervous system, because it's the nerve plexes that allow us to cascade that electromagnetic out. So energy medicine is about the modulation, the assessment first, and then the modulation, appropriate modulation of energy with intention to bring about balance and harmony or homeostasis in the body to the best degree that the practitioner can utilize in the moment. And again, I believe that if you're interested in this, you already have the ability to at least apply that to yourself and to other people. When I was probably 10, my dad came home from a conference and he was so excited because he learned about Qi and Tai Chi and Qigong and yoga. So he taught me, we stood in the living room and he said, put your hands like this and feel out and then in, out and in. And some people may say, well, that's just body heat. Well, not if you're out here necessarily, and you can feel a palpable presence pushing back on your hands. And what he did with me is he had me stand at one end of the living room, close my eyes, and he walked slowly toward me. And he said, tell me when you feel me close to you. And I said, now. And he was still about 9 feet away from me. Wow. So you can sense energy around people. When we walk into a room, this is being empathic, and humans are just like animals. We're all empathic. It's the nervous system again. Walk into a room, you can tell, even if the room is empty, that whoever was in here had a really good time or they had an argument. You can tell the mood of a room, right? Everybody's had that experiences. And when somebody walks into a room, and if you're on task and they're grumbly or they're like, yay, and they're not saying anything, they don't have to say a word, you will feel what's going on with them. That is some of the substance truth of how much of a radar we have empathically and perceptually with our nervous systems. And so hands-on healing, what I did is I would do hands-off, hands-on, meaning placing my hand on a certain area of the body of a client with permission, and then long-distance healing. I've been involved in long-distance studies on HIV/AIDS with the National Institute of Health, about a 3-year study it was. And so the intention of the client or patient, the intention of the practitioner is very clear and critical. And the practitioner's job is to help solve a problem. It's like anything else. And if nothing else happens, the client usually leaves with awareness, a sense of peace, calmness, greater direction on where they want to go. And sometimes there is a physical healing that occurs. That doesn't happen all the time, nor should one expect it, either on either side, the client or the practitioner. But you go in with love and care and attention, and that's what you apply. Love, care, and attention, and modulate the energy around the body. One of the hospitals I worked with, I taught the integrative medical team for a post-op unit. And one of the nurses came up to me on one of the visits. This was about a 3-year intermittent study. It wasn't a study, it was a training. And a nurse came up to me on the floor and said, and she whispered, she said, the patients are leaving earlier and with less pain medication because of this team. And I said, that's great. Do you have some data on it? And she goes, no, we can't talk about it. But this hospital and the lead was brave enough to do this at this major university hospital. And there was efficacy to that. So in the practitioners would come in, they're all trained in a different field, all licensed. So they come in and they just hold their hands around the people's heads, their shoulder. Nothing is invasive. It's very gentle. It's very loving. And the people felt the results, and they were trackable and traceable based on records. So that's energy medicine. It will move into allopathic medicine at a level that it will. It's getting there. It's not there even close yet, but there are, like I said, Reiki practitioners, which is a Japanese and Oriental form of energy medicine, where there are symbols that the practitioner visualizes and then projects into it. I'm not a Reiki practitioner, so I'm loosely describing that which I don't know much about. But again, we're all the method, we're all the path, we're all the way. And what we've been given insight is we can do that. How many of you, and even you, Karen, have placed your hand on someone's shoulder and they say, beyond the temperature of your physical body, it's like, oh, that feels so much better. That's such a healing touch. You're such a healer. I mean, there's so many out here listening that I know have had that experience. And I had that too as a kid. My mom would have a neck or shoulder problems, probably from reaching in the back of the car all the time to get the kids to settle down when they're in a station wagon in Europe for 5 months. It's like, come on, settle down. We're not there yet, So she said, would you put your hands on my shoulders? And I would do that. And she wouldn't be in pain anymore. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just was loving my mom. So that is the essence of everything. That is the essence of healing, is sharing that love. So try that on somebody. Try it on yourself. If you're having a bad day, just wherever you hurt in your body, place your hands there and just hold them there. And feel the energy coming from you to you, from grace, from the divine, through your own body. You can even visualize a ray of light if you want to be a little George Lucas about it. Visualize a ray of light coming into your hand, and just hold it. Hold it.
No, it does work. Sometimes I have my neck, when my head hurts, my neck hurts. So I just put my hands on my neck for a little while, and it doesn't go away, but it kind of helps. It feels a little better. My mom has her feet hurting a lot lately. So she's like, hey, can you just rub my feet for just a little bit? And I do it. And I mean, the pain doesn't go away, but it just makes her feel a little better. So it does work.
Nothing like human touch as well. And so I'd like to challenge you a little bit on this in a good way, is to sit quietly, take your mind's attention back to the back where you feel pain in your neck, and hold light there, hold energy there. See the grace of God, see Christ's hands on your back, see an angel coming into your presence, whatever feels right to you. But you can do this all with your mind. We don't need our hands on us or other people to do that. In fact, the long distance study proved that we would sit with the person's name, and then we would do our work on them long distance for a period of time, like 30 minutes every day for several weeks. And then we would write our conclusions, and off went the research. So try that with your mind. Your mind is the most powerful catalyst here. Hands are wonderful for the human touch, but the mind is where the action is. That clarity that comes from the integration between the intuitive faculty and critical thinking is where you can really increase your intuitive capacity and accuracy and keep sane at the same time, because you're using your critical thinking skills. So you're not off in some fantasy land or being fanciful. You're right on target. You're right on target. So try that. It's gentle. I sound right on target, sounds so patriarchal or whatever, so defined, but it is defined. That is how I'm able to do my work now, is down to, what did the doctor say? Electron microscope level. That was it. So, and that takes focus of mind.
Do I have to think of anything, or
just focus on where you feel the pain, and put the antidote in there, put the opposite of the pain in there. And that can be just the energy or the thought of love, or a healing slogan like I'm okay, or talk to your body in second person like you're okay, we've got this, it's all right. And breathe in and out. And even imagine you're breathing in and out of that area, creating space and openness there, calming down the nerves, calming down any inflammatory response. Like, we're okay. I feel healing deep inside. I feel love deep.
Okay, hold that, because I'm going to ask you to do a meditation with that, because that was my next thing. So you're doing it right now. And it's like, we really want you to go 100% on that. So, okay, what I was going to bring up is how meditation is obviously very important, and it's become common now in a common term and an activity to live your best life. And it's personal and reflective for each person. There's also power in numbers, raising the vibration, frequency, energy with hearts and minds connected. So you've worked with hospitals. You mentioned some of the research you've done, but also with famous doctors, specialized research programs, and been sought out by people all around the world in healthcare fields and every walk of life, corporate training included. I attended one of your 5-week medical intuitive courses, and you're very clear with students up front. Having a meditative practice is extremely beneficial. So that's where I was going to ask you if you could just, like you just did it in a few seconds. And I apologize for interrupting because it was so beautiful, but I wanted you to do it just for like 10 seconds, the same thing, but for us to be in that mode of, everybody, this is her, because your voice brings people up in vibration. Doesn't it, Karen? It does, right? It totally does. Okay, so if you wouldn't mind, Laura, could you do that? And I just want to preface, anyone that's operating machinery or driving or something like that, maybe you listen to this part later, okay? And then when you're like needing a little soothing, then you can listen to it. And anyone who's in a comfortable, safe position now, let's give the space to Laura.
Okay. All right. So just sit quietly wherever you are. Close your eyes for a moment and breathe deeply into the body. Let's inhale through the nostrils, dropping the energy of the breath and the breath all the way down to the belly. Just feel the belly rising and easing up when you exhale. Rising on the inhale and letting go on the exhale. And ask your body where it needs some attention. What area of the body is calling you for some support, ease, and comfort? Allow your mind to go there gently. You don't have to be a hero or rush in or fix anything. With your breathing in and out steady, and now with your mind in the place where your body needs you most right now, just breathe. Say hello. Listen to what the body has to say to you. This part of you has a voice. It has a message. And you're listening. You're being aware, maybe more than you ever have, to this part of your body that needs you. And as you're breathing, offer these healing words and slogans. I'm okay. I'm safe. I feel love deep inside. I feel joy deep inside. I hear you. I love you. Thank you. I will always take care of you. Let us heal deep inside. And continue breathing and repeating these words, or words that naturally arise within your own mind. And listen to your body in this place. Being present, being aware, and connecting with kindness, sincerity, and ease. And at your own pace, come back to the space in which you find yourself. Easily, you can lower your chin to your chest if you like. And open your eyes so you're coming into the space just around you, just around your body. And when you're ready, continue on with your day.
That was so cool. How did you feel, Karen?
Good.
She's still coming out of it. Yeah, then there's me going with the higher frequency. Look out. Me at a higher dose. I don't know. Okay, so people will know this more. We talked a little bit more about this in part 1 of your episode, but your acceptance and courage and wisdom throughout your life has been extraordinary. Like, you have shown no anger at becoming partially blind. You've had this acceptance, and you had to relearn how to drive, right? You had to relearn how to drive. You had to, yeah. So how many years was that?
4.
4. Okay. So as an adult, you have to relearn how to drive for 4 years. You have to adapt to, you can only read 3 words or 3 letters or 3 numbers at a time. And you continue living like full and whole with a service and a love that is so extraordinary. It just really is. A respected, renowned doctor said to you that it would take science 100 years to figure out what happened to you regarding your dying and coming back to life. And you went through this light tubular tunnel and experienced the presence of angels. And he said, and it's been decades since that happened. So in terms of acceptance and understanding all that and grouping that together, how these heavenly experiences, you come and go as you please still, right? With the presence of angels, you can see that you can go to both worlds and you see heavenly and can visit there. Is that correct? Am I putting words in your mouth, or can you express that a little?
You're not putting words in my mouth. It's think all the way back to the 1960s and 70s of the world encyclopedias, and somebody who's new and younger may have to look that up online, but they had the human anatomy had plastic layers, and it started with the skeleton, and you'd lay over the muscle structure, you'd lay over the veins, you'd lay over this, so it's an overlay for me. And it's like dimming down the colors that I see, which, when I'm in a forest, it's like full blast. I want to experience all of it. But I'm smiling because I'm remembering walking down the streets of New York, and on an odd segue, I'm fascinated with the gum on the sidewalks of New York. No other city is like that. But to come back to what we're talking about, I see people's guides, and I'm not a new ager, but I don't know what else to say. It's those who love us and walk with us in spirit, angels primarily. I see them walking with them, floating above them, going through the walls as they enter a building. It's there all the time. And to me, it's just like people on the street, only there's a completely different vibration of it. Can I dial it down a little bit? Yes, I don't have to look at these multidimensional aspects of life all the time. And I don't. But when I need a little boost, or it just organically happens, that's where I'm at. But the door didn't close for me when I came back into this body and woke up. And then a week later, I was heading down again. I was dying again. And that's when I had the brain surgery. But it's just part of my life. And I really believe, I know it in my heart, that everyone can do this to the degree that they want to pay attention to it and the degree that they want to put effort into it. I was thrown into this work. I had no idea what I was going to do because I couldn't do calculus anymore. So architecture school was out. And I heard that I was going to work in the medical field, but this is what it was. You will work in the medical field, but outside of the medical context. And I just, what? And I kept hearing that about a week and a half after my surgery and I was out of the hospital. I kept hearing that over and over again. For about 6 months. And then a couple of years later, it just happened. It just happened. I didn't seek this out. It's what I'm here to do. And so being in touch with that which is heavenly and that which is earthly is my day to day. That's a Tuesday for me. It's normal. And I feel so blessed about that. That's why I'm happy. I mean, who wouldn't be happy? In the blindness thing, it's like it makes it more interesting. Oh, there's a mountain there. And then I can look at the same mountain for 3 years and then just turn my head a little bit one time. And it's like, oh my God, it's really a big mountain. It's like, it's hysterical. But it reminds me of how we learn different things all the time. We can be with somebody for so long, and then all of a sudden we learn something fascinating about them that we didn't know before. Or, that's life. New things arise all the time. And I get to experience that every single day. And it's fun. It's fun. It's such a gift. It's such a gift to be alive. It's such there are no words. Yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to be here.
So much of life is life. Okay. There's adventures, and as much as someone can pray or to believe or to have faith, things occur. So when kids grow up, a lot of times kids used to have posters on their walls. Sometimes they still do at this time. And for me, I used to have a small plaque on the wall instead of posters. And I carried it with me. I treasured it, and I took it with me when I turned pro as a tennis professional when I was 14. And the plaque was the serenity prayer. And God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. And so I wanted to ask you about this. Let's track to the wisdom part and cultivate it with how suppressing emotions can disrupt internal flow and cause a weakened immune system. A weakened immune system can start disease. So when you look into a body, you see characteristics, you see personalities, colors, textures of diseases. And since your career has spanned 40 years, what have you noticed consistently in problems people present to you? Do they involve more struggles to change something, leave something, or accept something?
What I've noticed is that when we're too hectic, and I can raise my hand on that one too. I'm still very human. I'm still a wild and crazy girl sometimes, and I put too much on my plate. And when I get hectic, when I see that in my clients, the linear way of looking at the way I assess and the way diseases start, that's even more important, because I assess based on what I'm sensing and seeing. Is the nervous system is the catalyst. Then here comes the endocrine system, and that chemistry can be askewed over time due to various levels of nervous system stress, which then catalyzes different cell structures or organ systems behave or not behave in a normal manner. And so then the immune system has to come on board and start cleaning it up. And so it's this triune of nervous system, endocrine, and immune system that I look at all the time in people. And, when somebody gets on the phone with me, I do like a pin in the map, so to speak. I used to just start on and just go, 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 go. But then they'd come up with questions right at the end, and 5 minutes is left. And it's like, well, I really wanted to talk to you about this. And it's like, okay, but your body really wanted to talk to you about this. So I asked for a pin in the map. For instance, someone asked me to look at their left ankle. And while they said that, I saw them fall off a horse about 4 years prior. And, I've looked at the chain of structure in the skeletal system and muscular system, and that led to what's going on in their ankle. So, what people say is oftentimes different than what their body's perception is and where the body needs the help in the moment. Someone will say, I have headaches, and boom, right down into the stomach and the small intestinal tract. From a Western medicine point of view, gallbladder and liver, which is the nervous system in Chinese medicine. So it depends on the context. I use both contexts, Western and traditional Chinese and Ayurveda, and send people always to MDs and ancillary in Chinese and Ayurvedic philosophy medicine. And they're all MDs. I always recommend a pedigree of an MD. If that's in their area, because that's important. When something's wrong with the body, you want an MD. You just want an MD. You can have ancillary healers and shamans or whatever floats your boat, but you got to have an MD if you're sick. You just do. A functional, integrative, or traditional MD.
Got it. Okay, so last question. I'm bringing this part up since we've been talking about angels. You have an angel book that's coming out this year, and a quote from that book is, "Faith breeds grace." And I was going to ask you to elaborate on that a little bit for people who are struggling with either, but you did mention the prayer going within. You know, people can re-listen to this episode and clearly see how they can really enhance their faith, enhance their grace. And so they're going to have to do that. I'm short of time. And you covered this like brilliantly. And so I'm keeping the question for something else that I think is even, it's as important. But another one of your lines or words of wisdom from your new angel book coming out this year is, there are miracles happening within you and around you all of the time. So you wrote that, you live that, and your essence is of that. And so I just want you to share in like some closing words of wisdom here is one thing that's very important to you from what happened in your situation with the medical emergency is that you realized when you went to heaven that no one ever dies alone. And what I want to add to that is also no one ever lives alone, because, you know, God and your angels are here, you know, with you now. And so could you just share something about that people, because you can see that you have that ability. So could you share just a little bit in closing about how that can really help people feel like happier with life? Because when you know that and your angels are there and you have that communication and that rapport and that relationship, the whole world opens up in a way.
Yeah, beautiful. Yes, of course. I believe that hope is the first ingredient, because if you've lost faith, you've more than likely lost hope as well. So hope is not necessarily wishful thinking, although it can start out that way, but that can get a little magical and fanciful. And so hope derives from what you've already experienced insofar as an event that you have moved through successfully. And so you can hope, since I moved through that, I can do this. It's self-encouragement. Hope is self-encouragement. And it's also encouragement in the trust that you don't have in the moment in your own life, that you hope that things will work out. That space of holding a sense of hope will breed faith. Faith is the next stair step. It's the next platform. And it's, again, faith in yourself, but it's also faith in your life and that power greater than you. When we have lost hope, we tend to lose connection and faith, not only in ourselves or the situation, in the environment, our bodies, or someone else's behavior, but we lose that connection with the heavens, with God. And so as you breed hope within yourself based on a past experience, here comes faith. And with the strengthening of faith comes trust. And with trust comes a deeper connection. All three of these are about reconnection to self, to service for yourself in the moment if you're in a tough spot, but then in service of God, your God job, whatever that may be. And you may not know what that is. It's living your life really in the broadest sense. So think about hope, faith, and trust as a triune, as a stair step up to that bigger connection and a deeper connection. It's both big and deep. It's large and small. It's in and outside of you. So that's the step there. It's not always easy. It's not easy. This is where being curious helps. When you've lost hope, be curious that there is hope around the corner, because you have experienced that already in your life. Don't forget about the miracles, the little ones, the big ones that have happened in your life. That will breed the faith, and then the trust will come to you. And then the experience of feeling protected can come in too. It doesn't always come in, but it does merge with you, where you kind of take a breath, you take a sigh, and it's like, okay, I can do this. And it comes back to you in our minds a lot. It comes back to ourselves. Okay, I can do this. And then the answers start coming. Well, maybe I need to go look here. Maybe I need to talk to this person. Maybe I need to quit doing this. Maybe I need to move away from this person. That's divine guidance. That's intuition. That's your system coming back online through the tragedy, through the strife, and giving you the answers you need to move forward, which again builds the hope, faith, and trust so you can move forward. I hope that helps.
That was fantastic. So obviously we could talk to you for years and have more to discover that's fascinating about you. And I'm sure it's going to be an interesting and inspiring and illuminating year for you and your students and clients and audiences worldwide that follow you. So for audiences, Laura's intuitive wellness book, Using Your Body's Inner Wisdom to Heal, is available. And she also has a podcast called The Voice of Intuition, both available online at her, Laura. And I'm going to spell it because with the last name, maybe pronouncing, maybe it'll help. So Laura, so it's Laura, Laura, but it's Kamm. So everyone, Kamm.com. So Laura's also in our Little Star Foundation calendar 2024. So that's so exciting because these goes to schools and hospitals for free and orphanages. There she is on that month. So if you can get the digital copy online at littlestar.org. If you haven't yet to get your free copy, print one, just find me and we'll get that out to you. So just make sure of that. And then I know that I'm going to be at, taking her 2024 classes. So if maybe I'll see anyone in the audience then and we can visit and go, remember when we listened to her and just were so inspired and our life was transformed, and we can share that together. But either way, blessings and thank you for joining us on Little Star Light. And Laura, thank you. Blessings to you and all you do for humanity.
Thank you so much. Thank you both, Karen. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you, Andrea.
Likewise. It was really good.
Till next time, ladies.